Yon. So, welcome everyone, GM sa mga ka-Impact. So, welcome to Impact Monday Live where we talk to the legends in Web3 space, the builders, the traders, and the storytellers of Web3. So, tonight is a super exciting because it's my first time meeting our guest, and she is a representative of a game that has history, hype, and a huge community. So, let's give a warm welcome to Nobara, the Global Comms Manager of GensoKishi Online, and project that's redefining a Metaverse MMORPG. So, they're greeting. So, let's add her on the stage. So, welcome, Nobara.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're loud and clear. Uh,
Thank you so much for having me.
yes. So let's warm up a bit. Maybe you can introduce yourself. What do you do?
Of course. So at the moment, I am looking over the global communications and the community over at GensoKishi, meaning that once kind of we get the campaigns and the marketing plans from our core team, I'm in charge of kind of distributing all the different campaigns. I have the pleasure of communicating firsthand with all of our amazing partners, KOLs, and so on. So it's been a really amazing journey working with Genso and seeing it grow into the version that it is at the moment.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So again, welcome to Impact. So for those who are new hearing about GensoKishi, so maybe you can introduce about the game itself. Like I know that previously you're on a Web 2 game, and then you transitioned to Web 3.
Exactly, you're correct. So GensoKishi is essentially the Web3 version of a really popular game which was called Elemental Knights. It is a really long-running 3D MMORPG with over 8 million downloads worldwide across the different platforms. So originally the game launched over 15 years ago, and a funny fact is that it was actually the first inception of the game as we know it was on a flip phone. So you can imagine that we go quite a long way back. And so what happened is the game gained quite a lot of popularity, specifically in Japan and Taiwan. And then it reached also consoles like Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 3 and 4, which is when it kind of reached its peak. So, following on from that and kind of multiple years of continued success, the team decided to kind of expand into the Web3 sector and explore how we can, merge the blockchain technology with the game and ensure that the in-game economy is preserved and that it makes sense for what the game already is.
Yeah, that's a great information. Like for me personally, I'm playing MMORPG. So actually, my first
Oh,
game is Ragnarok Online. If you're familiar with that.
yes.
And then I transitioned to World of Warcraft. I've been playing with my guild, with my previous guild. So they were across the country, like they were in San Francisco, and then I'm in Philippines. But we actually play World of Warcraft every day when a few years ago. I mean, not few years ago, decades ago. So maybe can you tell us how do you get personally involved in GensoKishi?
Yeah, so it was really really interesting actually. I used to work in corporate back in the UK, so I was in the cinema industry actually, and during COVID I went into blockchain, so I was lucky enough to join kind of the space during the first bull run. And I immediately tend to go into things that I'm already familiar with. So I was quite keen on Web3 gaming, and I was already playing. I didn't know back in the day, but I was already playing Elemental Knights on my Nintendo Switch. So yeah, it was a really lucky coincidence. And then one day I realized that, there's a Web3 version of the game. And also even more lucky for me, Maxi, who is the CEO of Genso, Maxi Kuan. So he was doing a presentation in London for Swissborg, which is another organization in Web3. So I decided to go to the event and to directly speak to Maxi and just kind of explain that, I'm really interested in this game. I think it has a lot of potential in the Western kind of market, but I noticed that none of their social media channels had too much content in English. So I just asked if what do they think about me kind of adapting some of the content and trying to, promote it to a wider audience than just to the kind of more the Asian side of the audiences and the players. And yeah, I think that's the TLDR of how I joined in. So he agreed. I had a little bit of a trial period. I used to be a moderator, community manager, and as time went on, it's been about 3 years now. I became global communications manager just because I had been with the game for such a long time, and I kind of witnessed the entire evolution of everything.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of Maxi Kwan, actually, I also met him in Taiwan.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, yeah, I met him in Taiwan. So that's why I was involved in Genso Kishi partly. We asked for sponsorship for Genso Kishi. So, I mean, Genso Kishi is the first one to support Impact. Like, Impact is an association for crypto traders. So we want to educate people about crypto. So I'm happy that I reached Maxi Kwan and then they supported us. So they actually sponsored our event going in the whole Philippines. Like we go into Baguio, Manila, Cebu. So we get, I mean, we get support from you guys. So maybe do you have currently activities or events in Philippines that maybe what do you think that you can actually improve here? Because I know before you have partnership with YGG, and then
Yes.
you did some events here like before I think it's May was handling the country lead here. So anything going on that side?
Yes, so as you probably already know, the Philippines have been some of our most loyal and kind of biggest supporters since the start of the Web3 version of Genso. So we have maintained a strong connection with a lot of local communities, KOLs, and different organizations. You did mention YGG.
Yeah.
So yes, they are very much still our partner. We actually concluded our YGG gap season, I believe it was eight. We had it extended, so it was running up until a month or two ago. And I'm sure that, whenever they have this coming up again soon, we're going to be taking place again. We're still in very close relationship with some of the local guilds like JD Guild and so on. And we are still very much actively looking to maintain that region because the game has gained so much popularity just on the basis of exposure in the Philippines. I had the pleasure of also being in the Philippines back in, I believe, 2002 or
Oh,
2023 for the Web3 Philippines Festival, which was such a big success for us. I think you mentioned you played Ragnarok in the beginning. And what I remember is that because we had a booth there and I had my laptop and my phone and I was just kind of giving it away to people so they can test out Genso for themselves. And almost everyone that did a test of the game said that it really reminds them of Ragnarok. So,
yeah, yeah, kind of. The first try, I also feel that there's a hint of it, like a Ragnarok feel. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was definitely a piece of feedback that we got very, very often. So yes, we've definitely been in close touch with everyone on our partner and in the Philippines. I'm looking forward to hosting more. I hope that we'll be able to continue visiting different festivals and kind of having local events. I know that last year we had another event with you with our Southeast Asian manager back in the day,
Yeah.
who also helped for some local events, I believe. So that was something really amazing for us because it's, well, like the name goes, it was quite impactful, I think, on both ends. So, yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I noticed that one. So maybe you can tell the difference
Oh, I'm sorry, your audio cut off.
about how the Philippine market works, like that kind of
Sorry,
hello.
do you mind
Lost.
repeating the question because you cut off during the question.
Oh, okay, okay. So I mean, what differentiates Philippines on the other Asian markets? Like, what's happening? What's good in Philippines, but don't tell the negative. But maybe some insight. Yeah.
Um, I would say the Filipino community is probably the most hands-on out of all the different regions that we've worked with, because they are the people that are constantly online. They know every single update. They know the game better than a big part of the team, just because they are spending all of their time there. Whenever I'm running an event, it doesn't matter what the day is, what the time is. I know that the majority of players on the server are going to be Filipinos, and I think they're really curious, they're really knowledgeable, and they are really kind of expecting to be told every little detail. And it's something that I'm not quite used to, because I'm used to working with people, from the US, from the UK, where people just kind of want to know, just an overall thing, but they don't really want to go in that deep, because maybe they just do it for the token. Maybe they just, they're just checking things out. Whereas people in the Philippines, I've noticed, they're really attentive to detail. They have a lot of questions, but that is the thing that you want from a community, especially a gaming community, people who are involved, who are keeping an eye. And it's been so many times that it's been because of Filipino players and investors that we've been able to spot, let's say we've released some kind of a patch or an update or some kind of a content addition again. So they would be the first ones to pick up on anything that is maybe not as expected or isn't quite as described. So as someone who's working with the community and manages the community, for me, that is really, really helpful, because then I can relay that information directly to the dev team and we can actually make it work. So if you have people that are disinvested and curious, across the board, you're looking at a much quicker pace of improving and developing your product. So yeah, only the best things to say about Filipino players.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So now we Filipinos, alam nyo na guys that we give a lot of infos and then we really dive deep in the game.
Mm,
So yeah. So I just told them that we Filipinos that give details for the game. So maybe let's go into the game. No, so I actually I already played the game, but I didn't have time to process it deeply. I just play on the top of it. Can you walk us through what a new player can expect when once they log in, or what makes the experience different from other MMORPG?
of course. So basically, Genso is really a massive game, because it has been going on for so long. Obviously, there's a lot of content and lore that go behind it. So it is something that takes a while to discover. But I would say there is no investment needed. It's really easy to start the game. You can play it on your phone. You can download it from the Android or Apple Store and just start playing straight away. You don't need to connect the wallet. You can just log in with whatever details you like. You can log on with X, email, and so on. So in terms of access, the experience I would compare to just like any other game that you would play on your phone or on your PC. And then, as any other MMO, obviously you have your different classes. The classes have different professions that you can specialize in. You have your own skill tree that you can modify depending on what profession you've taken on, what kind of equipment you have, and really kind of what is your objective in the game. If you're just trying to level up, if you're joining more social events. So I would say some recent developments that we've had in the game that have been quite exciting have been PvP mode. I would say that is something that the high level players find a little bit more interesting, because it's a really good opportunity to kind of test out gear that you've bought, and different combinations that you've made with your skill tree and so on. So that is something quite interesting. We have dungeons and towers, and different limited time events that people can explore together. So you can form a party, and join these events. Obviously, get some really good loot like exclusive gear, consumables, and so on. So there's just a lot to explore. Additionally, we have collaborations with a lot of real life establishments. So you can visit, there's a map called Hikone City, and it is actually an actual city in Japan which is known for its historical heritage. So, what the team over in Japan did was kind of remake a 3D model of the city, along with some help from of students from Hikone City, to kind of reproduce the beauty of the place and promote tourism there. So that is something that we're also planning on exploring further, working with real life establishments and businesses and bringing them into the Web3 industry, because it's a really interesting way to learn and kind of interact with both the sectors. So I would say, doesn't matter what type of game you're in, there's a little bit of something for everyone in Genso. There's UGC building, so you can kind of leave your mark in the game. If you're a competitive player, you can do the events that I mentioned. Or if you're a casual player and you just enjoy MMORPGs, it's a massive, vast world that you can explore for hours, and you can just follow the storyline and do the campaign, and you'll still find something all the time. So, yeah.
So yeah, so thank you for that. So let's just do some summary for the community. So you can actually play the game without any investment, right? So we are not encouraging people to invest here. It's just you're playing the game as it is in Web 2. And then
Exactly.
yeah, I remember the Hikono city because I've been talking around Philippines. Like maybe I should some share some of what we did previously before.
Of course.
So share screen here. Yep. Yeah, so are you seeing the screen now? So maybe we just highlight. So this is I mean,
Yes,
the community activity that we did last year in Davao. So GensoKishi's is there, I think, to support us. And then this one also like our roadmap. So we've been in Luzon, Bicol, Visayas, Mindanao, Calabar zone with the help of GensoKishi. And then this is a big event in Laguna, I think. So we went to a university where stadium, and then this is not really the first time, but this is the first auditorium type that we did with GensoKishi. I think May was here last
yes.
year, and then we introduced some of the students here on GensoKishi that they can actually play and then earn some on the side. So yeah, thank you for that. So I'm gonna remove the screen now. So maybe we can move on like to the game itself. So what is your favorite character type in the game?
So as an MMO player, I always play a wizard. So I would
Wizard.
say that
Okay.
any type of mage or wizard kind of character would be my favorite, just because they're really interesting. I enjoy learning the different combinations and so on. So that would be my choice for Genso, but also any other MMO.
Okay. For me, I usually play either ranger or wizard and then most likely warrior class. But yeah, the first usually the first is I like playing avatars with pets. So something like that.
That's an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't think we don't even have familiars in Genso, but it's definitely something that
Yeah.
I think players would enjoy having. So it's probably down the line for us.
Yeah. So do you usually play a female character or a guy character?
I play a female character, and as I mentioned, we do have a UGC kind of function in Genso. So I was really lucky to collaborate with one of our really talented, actually Filipino UGC artists for
Oh,
Genso.
yeah.
So he created. I'm not sure if you follow anime, but I'm really obsessed with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
follow that. I follow that.
yeah, so that's why I'm called Nobara. Nobara is like my favorite character from Jujutsu Kaisen. I've always gone by that name in Web3, and I have an exact replica of the Nobara character in Genso, so that's my cosplay.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Because my ice name is actually my in-game name. Like I've been using this for such a long time, so it's stuck there. Like it's an avatar name. Like when I'm playing Ragnarok, World of Warcraft. That's why I was kind of annoyed that someone in Instagram got my name first. Yeah,
Yeah, it's your legacy.
yeah. So that's why. Anyway, uh, maybe we can move on. So, how many players can you party up when you play in GensoKishi? Like, how does party system works there?
So there are multiple ways that you can actually connect with players. It's always up to four. So the party limit is always four, regardless of whether you're doing a casual party, if you're doing a tower, or anything else. However, we did recently introduce a guild function.
Yun.
So in my case, I'm a guild leader, and I host weekly events. So you can have initially you can start with a guild that has up to 5 members, and then you can pay an additional fee to have it extended by five, until however many you want. So the whole function of the guild is that you have guild quests, you have guild funds. So any member of the guild can donate funds into the guild fund, which is then used to buy equipment, to maybe expand the guild, to maybe do some kind of an event. But you're all kind of holding your money in one place, your tokens in that situation. So if you do want to explore in that way, I would say it's a really good version, because what happens is, let's say, I'm obviously in the UK. I have a few guild members who are in Canada, and I have a few guild members that are actually based in the Philippines. So we don't always get to play together. But what happens is each one of us can go into Genso. We can do the daily guild quest, and that gives all of us XP, and tokens back, and they all go towards the guild fund. So essentially, we can kind of step in for each other, and we're still going to be progressing, regardless of the fact that the party is not together at the same time in the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, speaking of which, because as currently I'm running a guild, it's called 8 Inches. So we're kind of a game. It's not really connected to like a project per se, but it's a group
Yeah.
of community for players that wants to have party system, or they want to play the game and then they want to have a company playing that game. So I'm kind of curious because if you enter this guild platform, what rewards do you get by being in this guild?
So, by completing the different guild quests, you collect guild coins and guild points. So, the more you have, the better drops you're gonna get. So, first you get tokens, and then you also get exclusive NFT drops, which you can obviously then decide to sell on the Genso marketplace. You can use it to reinvest into something else within the game. So there are actually multiple ways that you can be earning from it, because you can also, let's say, complete a tower, use the funds from the guild to complete this, then get the rewards from there as well. So I think, because we launched this fairly recently, we've been seeing a lot of different kind of tactics and different approaches to that update. So I've noticed that a lot of the people that we have running guilds, they do what I just explained. They would log in at different times, and they would make sure that they complete those quests just so they can get the max daily points and judgment drops. But then, others, maybe they get together on specific days, they grind for a few hours, so they go into a specific area, or a specific map, they max it out, and then that's it for the whole week. So there's many different ways you can go about it. It just kind of depends on what agrees with your schedule, your lifestyle, your time zone, and so on. But I think it's really good that, we offer that flexibility, because you don't want to be dependent on a game.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So there are boss fights, right? Like seasonal boss fights, or no?
Yeah, that's the seasonal towers, dragon towers.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I haven't been back on the game, so I'm kind of lost currently on what's happening in GensoKishi. If that's the case, then we can actually invite some of the guild members to play GensoKishi. Maybe we can
Yeah.
connect later on, and then I'm gonna push that to my guild that okay, you can start. We can start to actually play this game, and then you have time. Because currently I'm kind of stumped, so I'm not really playing any games recently. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe yeah. So let's just be clear, right? So when you say in-game tokens, in like you're earning something in there, does it involve money, or there are tokens that's just there for in-game consumption, like it doesn't go out to the system?
No, so you can earn tokens that you can export, and that is the first point, so if you're trying to export anything from Genso, whether it's NFTs or tokens, because we have two of them. So one of them is the in-game gold, which is Emerald,
Mhm.
and the other one is the governance token, which is MV. So
Okay.
if you've earned RONT, let's say you've been grinding in a certain map, you want to export, maybe you want to sell it for USDT, that will be the first point where you will be asked to connect an actual Web3 wallet. And depending on the amount that you're exporting, you're going to be asked to complete an eKYC. Just because when you have different servers and when you have so many players, you have to make sure that all of the transactions are legit. Otherwise, the economy is just going to be completely messed up. So yes, all of the money and everything that you earn in the game can be sold and can be exported. It's not just for in-game consumption.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So, just a financial advice. This is not any financial recommendation. It's just the game has a tokenomics that works inside the game. So maybe can you bring down some difference how players can involve in game? Because I remember you said that you created this a city. I forgot the sorry, I forgot the name again. So then are there players outside the game? Like I remember telling me before that you can actually do an in-game meetup and then do an outside meetup after that. So yeah, does it
So
ring a bell or?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, actually.
Okay, okay, okay. So maybe we just revise that. Move on to the next. So is there any staking for Envy? Or there's a voting system for it because it's a DAO. So primarily, what's its use case?
Yes, so we actually have different seasons for staking and staking rewards. So
Mm-hmm.
we're currently in our fifth season of MV staking. And we've introduced like a crop system where you have different pots in which you stake a certain amount. And depending on how much you've staked and how long you've kept it for, you get different drops. However, anyone who has over 10,000 MV staked on the platform regularly gets surprise drops, access to early campaigns and events, and so on. So there's a lot of different perks that go with that investment aside from the passive income on staking the tokens themselves. Additional thing that we've rolled out that kind of works in a conjunction with the staking platform is the Genso leaderboard. Excuse me. So that is a system that essentially accounts for the player's activity on chain. So it means that we like to take into consideration the amount of time you're spending in a game, how much you've invested, how much you've exported, how you've used the economy. So the people and the players with the highest engagement and with the biggest kind of contributions to the ecosystem get even more kind of exclusive benefits, perks, and access to, let's say, whitelist campaigns or anything else that Genso is working on, because it is really valuable to us to know that we've had a group of people that has been there for a while, and they're trying to consistently contribute and maintain the game almost as much as we are. So I would say it is definitely something worth exploring. If you're playing games on the regular, or if you're interested in something like this, it is definitely something to benefit from in various ways.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So for you personally, how long do you play GensoKishi? Like how often do you play? Like how many hours a day? Yeah, just to give an idea on people. Like
So it really, really depends. I would say the game is at its hardest in the early levels. So if you want to get past level 13, 14, 15, you have to grind a lot. So you have to pass the initial stages, you have to get good gear. So I would say for a beginner, you could end up playing like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a week. At the moment, I think I'm doing about 4 or 5, just because first I'm always checking out different things. When there's a different update, I have to log on to the game, kind of check out where the NPC for the thing is, just so I can kind of answer questions if I need to. And then additionally, obviously, I have my weekly events where we do the different guild quests. We help new players level up as well. So I would say accounting this for this as well, it's probably, yeah, it's coming up to about 5-6 hours a week that I'm spending full on playing the game.
So, like playing most of the MMORPG, there is power leveling. Is there any way that people can help you power level up?
Um, do you mean like a sped up way to kind of level up faster?
Yes, correct, correct. Like me, I'm playing Diablo, so they will just bring me to a heavy
Same.
dungeon to get to high to get to level 60 up. Because I know that this is kind of beating or cheating the game, but it actually happens. Like I'm just curious if there's any way, like, or if you're gonna buy a potion like XP potions that will actually boost your XP.
So I would say because you mentioned Diablo, you can very much do this. So there are different maps that you can just stay and grind in just for the sake of leveling up. You can find like a map with easy mobs, and you can just grind there until you level up to the point where you can go on to different maps or different mobs and so on. So that is definitely an option. I would say another good strategy is to play with high level players or play in a party, because when you play in a party the XP is split between the different party members. So even if you're not that strong yourself, or maybe there's a skill that you need that your character just doesn't have, it's a
Mhm.
really good option, and you can level up much faster than you would on your own. And especially that's the case with classes like Wizard. In my case, in the early stages of the game, it was almost impossible to progress by myself because you need a healer, you need a
You need
rogue player, and so on. So ultimately, you do need at least four players with different skills so that you can make things work optimally, essentially.
Yeah, that's actually clear. That's a role of MMORPG. You
Yeah.
play a role for that. So next, I would like to ask more about the EXP system. Does it distribute evenly or it's prorated? Like, if you're this level, you're gonna get this max.
Yeah, so that was something that we were actually testing out, and that is very much the case. Just what you said now is that basically, if let's say I'm level 12 and you're playing with a bunch of 20 plus level players, they are gonna get more XP. You're not gonna get as much because you're a lower level. So it does not get distributed evenly. It very much depends on whether you have any boosts. It depends on the type of cosplay, on the type of gear that you have on. So I think it's, yeah, it's dependent on multiple things, but you're not going to be getting the same XP and not even the same rewards. So it's very
So
competitive.
yeah. So how about loot system? Like, because I've been playing like Ragnarok, like the last person who killed gets the loot. It's kind of annoying. Like they can do kill steal, but when I'm playing World of Warcraft, you kind of get the loot on your own. Like, it's a RNG and then it's a round robin system. So how does the loot system work in GensoKishi?
So again, that is dependent on what type of party you have formed, and what type of quest it is and what kind of map it is. Because basically, the way you can form a party in Genso is you can have short-term play, long-term play. You can have quest hunt or book hunt. So the books are a different kind of quests that you complete to get certain items from the game. So depending on that, I would say it would be a different scenario for what the objective is and who gets the final loot. But I would say, let's, for the sake of example, if you're doing a short-term quest, and you're trying to kill a monster, the reward is gonna get split between you. And then the final, whatever the drop is, you're all gonna get it.
Yeah, that's clear. That's clear. So now maybe we can move on the UGC, the user generated contents.
Mm.
So yeah, this has been heavily promoted by May last time because every player can create their own. I mean, gears or I think uh, even skins. So maybe you can divulge more on this subject.
Yeah, so the UGC maker for Genso is a tool that is, I think, really underexplored still because there's just not that many people that have spent time actually seeing its true potential. I would say it's performing probably at its finest in Japan now because our ambassadors there are really kind of keen on leaving their mark in the game. But essentially, what the system allows you is to first we have a sandbox option, we have a land option, so you can create almost mini games and mini worlds within Genso, import your own items, and just really go kind of creative with what you want to do with the game. And a small example I can give is, let's say you buy a piece of parcel in Genso, or you buy land, but you're also an NFT creator. So I can build my parcel in Genso like a gallery. I can add items that make it look like a gallery, and then I can add a hyperlink to my OpenSea account, and have an NPC kind of introducing my services, who I am, and so on, and then link to my actual work outside of Genso. So essentially, the way it works, and that's something that Hikone is doing as well, is essentially Genso in its UGC features can almost be used as a self-advertisement and marketing platform that you just make the most of, because we already have such a big user base, and we're already really well established. If you're a business, individual, or any kind of professional in the space, you can use Genso not just as a player, but also as a client, and just use us as an advertising space. So we also have a shopping center called Elrond Mall within the game, where different businesses have built their own shops with their own NPC. So we have DeFi, Llama, Ledger, Bybit, and so on. So you can visit the shops within the mall in the game, and the NPC will kind of briefly go over the different services that they offer, and show you external links if you're interested and you want to learn more. So it's I think it is underexplored just because it's so vast. So it has a lot of capabilities, and it's definitely something that will be a key element in Genso's development further down the line.
Yeah, so maybe you can tell us more about what currently now in the real world that is connected in your UGC, like the shops, maybe hotels. I remember there is a booking system before. Is it possible to book a hotel inside the metaverse?
No, 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 no. I think we had like a limited time campaign with trip.com where
Oh,
we.
okay.
Yeah, so we've had partnerships with a lot of different businesses. So I think probably one of the most famous campaigns that we've run in recent months, I think that was towards the end of last summer. The largest retailer in Japan called Don Quixote. It
Don
is a
Quixote,
massive,
yes.
yes, so it is a
Don
massive chain of mega stores. So what we did was we built the Shibuya version of Don Quixote in our shopping center, and we had an exclusive campaign with the real life Don Quixote. So we had like actual toys, we had real life collectibles, we had a campaign, we had ambassadors going to the actual Shibuya store. I had the great luck of being in Japan at the time, so that was really exciting for me to to visit Don Quixote and then to see it in the game, and just to see the characters come to life in the game, and knowing the impact and kind of the popularity of the chain. It was just mind blowing to me. How developed the system is, and how open also Japan is to these Web 2 and Web 3 collaborations, because I think people in the West are still a little bit more lenient on whether they should do it or not, and how much of a successful marketing strategy it is. Whereas people in Asia, I think, have really understood the potential of Web 3 and how it can merge the sectors in a really, really successful and innovative way.
I think that's kind of gray area for us right now, because currently if SEC release an article, because mostly our SEC here is based on US, so US kind of have a tight regulation about this. So I mean,
Mm,
anyway, for another matter. So but speaking of Don Quixote, so if other people don't know that Don Quixote is actually Don Donkey, so it's in
yeah.
Singapore. Taiwan. So I've been an avid fan going there because I've been buying Kit Kats there, and then some of those cheese something in Japan. So it's really a big brand, like it's a big
Yeah.
Japanese brand that people wants to buy, not really cheap but reasonable price Japanese products. So yeah, that's Don Quixote in Japan. So yeah, then maybe we can move like what's the future for user generated contents, like that you said that it's not really under use right now. So maybe what do you think that it's good to kind of push it more, so aside from local partnerships, because you've been making cities inside a game. So what if you can actually connect in a local government in the Philippines and then create like a tourist area in Philippines, because there's a lot of good beaches here, lots of great landmarks and sites, and then yeah, does it open up like something for GensoKishi?
Definitely. As I did mention, I think the UGC maker and land versions are going to become kind of a leading, unique selling point for Genso and how we go about our collaborations and partnerships. And we are planning on continuing with this model, obviously, in every country that allows it, where people feel comfortable merging that Web 2 and Web 3 sector for some kind of a collaboration. But to say the least, we are already working on multiple collaborations for Japan, for Taiwan as well, and looking at a lot more partners to engage, whether it's different businesses, whether it's actual historical places and cities that you can visit. As you did mention, that would be a really sweet spot for organizing something in the Philippines because people there are really Web 3 friendly. So I think Genso UGC and this form of partnerships will be something that we're really keen on exploring with the help of our partners and ambassadors there. So I would say, if you're getting involved in Genso and you're interested in kind of the merge of Web 2 and Web 3, then the Genso UGC feature and land builder is definitely a feature and a utility to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so thank you for that insight. So maybe you can tell what's next for GensoKishi this year. So are there upcoming events, collabs that we should be excited about?
Yes, so we have plenty of things coming up. As you know, there are multiple summits and different events taking place over the summer. So I think the one that we're going to the soonest from now would probably be IVS Crypto in Kyoto, Japan, which is one of the biggest kind of Web 3 events in Asia. So we're really excited about this. I'm not sure about the details yet, but I hope that Maxi will be one of the speakers as he has been for previous years. We're going to do our best to join Token 2049. Um,
Oh,
and
Singapore.
then, yes, yes. We have been to the previous versions. I remember that we even had a Genso booth when the edition was in Dubai. So we're looking forward to this as well. Obviously, I'm looking at maybe booking us for a little bit more events over on the European side because I'm feeling a little bit lonely here. All of my teammates are in Asia, you know,
Yeah,
and I
maybe
don't.
you take me there.
Yeah, I don't have nearly as much fun as the rest of my team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely a bunch of things that we're looking forward to. And in terms of the game and what kind of developments different players can look forward to, we're gonna be adding a lot more around the competitive elements of Genso. So we're gonna be working to improve and kind of further develop our leadership ranking, maybe have some kind of an overview and leaderboard of top players, have like one-on-one quests and events and so on. um, so we're definitely looking to bring everyone together regardless of what region they're coming from or regardless of what language they're speaking, because I think that's kind of one of the beautiful elements of MMO games is that if you know what you're doing, it doesn't really require a language. It just requires that really good connection and communication between the different party members, and that kind of unifies you in the long run. So we're hoping that we're going to be able to achieve this throughout the development of the game.
Yeah, so I saw your fact sheet, and then you've done collabs, brands like Hello Kitty and then Fairy Tale in the past. So, what other IPs are you planning to collab with or coming in?
Well, I don't think I can share anything that we haven't officially announced
Yeah.
yet, but we are working with some big partners again. I think Genso has been quite fortunate to collaborate with some major Japanese franchises. So we're still looking to push this because the popularity of Japanese culture and pop industry in the West has grown really significantly. So I think it is something that we're also passively benefiting from because we have all of these anime collabs. We also worked with the Final Fantasy artist Yoshitaka
Oh,
Amano
yeah,
on an
yeah.
exclusive collection. Obviously, we have the Don Quixote collab as well. We still have the Don Quixote store in the game. So we're gonna continue trying to add these cultural and franchise kind of shout outs and references in the game because it's just a really fun way to pull in just different elements from culture, whether it's art, anime, cinema, history, or anything else. And I think that kind of makes the game appealing to a really wide range of people.
Yeah, there is a question here. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, you broke up again.
yeah, sorry. There's a question from the crowd. Like, is this like Genshin Impact?
Why? Because it sounds similarly.
I think.
I would say maybe, yeah. Like some of the elements, I would say it's not far off, but it is definitely not the same. I would say Genshin Impact is probably a little bit easier, but it is similar in also many ways because it's still an open world. You build your classes. So yeah, I would compare it. I would even say when I've been asked to describe Genso and what it resembles, I would say it's like a combination between Zelda and World of Warcraft, if I have to be
Oh, okay.
specific.
So it's more like Zelda and World of Warcraft. So if you guys playing
Yeah.
Zelda and then World of Warcraft, so I'm both. So I do play both. Yeah, he
Same.
said. Yeah, Felix said it sounds the same, a different game. Yeah, it's a different game as was what Nobara said. I mean the Genso Kishi. I mean Genshin Impact is most likely like a screen, like it's like a screenplay gameplay, right? Like you kind of watch the game. That's
Yeah,
what I feel.
there's a lot more cinematic elements in Genshin Impact, I would say. So I know that Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail have kind of become the focal point for JRPGs, but they are a little bit more cinematic and they're really player friendly. Whereas if you play actual JRPGs, they're a lot more complex and just long and kind of they really require your involvement, so you're not going to be watching any cinematics. It's not going to be easy, and it's something that you actually have to, you have to work on the campaign and you have to find a strategy in order to level up. So it is in that sense I wouldn't compare it to Genshin Impact because Genshin is just made to be enjoyed regardless of anything else. So it's just a really casual game, whereas Genso is a little bit more complex in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Like, I was playing several games that JRPG. Like, I've been playing Final Fantasy 3 on my mobile device, and then
Mm.
4. So it kind of takes you a lot of side quests, and then lots of hidden quests or hidden gems. Is there any? I mean, a lot of hidden. What do you call this? I forgot the game. Easter egg, like yeah, Easter egg like hunt in GensoKishi.
Oh yeah, there's many, and I would say probably I'm not even the best person to ask because there are many places that I've still not been able to explore just because I'm not max level. But there are many references to many different things. I know that people have encountered references to a lot of kind of Ghibli world characters and stories and so on. So you're gonna meet there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs in the game, is all I'm going to say. But it's more fun to explore them by yourself and to initially be like, is this what I think it is? And then you kind of do a research and you find out what it actually is. But yeah, the devs have thought of some really fun stuff, I would say.
So if players want to dive deep, so which is the best place for them to get their informations?
I would say definitely join our social channels. If you even go on our X profile, you'll find a link to our link tree. So on the link tree, you're gonna find the guide for the UGC maker. You're gonna find the white paper, which is really, really extensive. It's not like the regular white papers that projects have. You're gonna find a link to the Genso wiki, which gives you a really detailed and good overview of the different classes, the different skill tree builds, the different items that you might need for the specific character that you've decided to build. So I would say check out the link tree, check out Genso Marketplace, and check out the website because it does contain huge amounts of information. I think Japanese gaming teams, they're kind of notorious for providing a lot of details about everything, and our developers have their own X accounts as well, where they're constantly sharing updates on different patches, different mechanics in the game that are being changed, that are being worked on. So if you're someone that wants to find out more about Genso, you want to stay up to date, there are multiple channels that you can do it from. Obviously, join the Telegram and Discord if you have any questions. Aside from this, if you're trying to level up and maybe you don't have a party in Genso, you can join one of our weekly events. I'm doing weekly Sunday events. We can help you level up and kind of get you familiar with the game. But yeah, there's plenty of places to draw knowledge from.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Do you have the official link? So maybe I can drop in this channel, like the link tree, so people can get custom quickly.
Yes, one second.
Yep. I'll drop the Twitter link, but if you have, oh, yeah, you can just send me on a private chat, and then I'll look it for you.
Okay. Is it okay if I send it in Telegram?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
There you go. So guys, mga ka-impact, check nyo yung link for their game. And then we have a few questions left here. How do you envision the long-term future of Genso as a game, and then as a full metaverse, and then for a builder's platform?
So what I envision for Genso is probably I guess aligned with what games like Path of Exile and Diablo are doing. So I hope that we'll be having different seasons, different kind of narratives running all the time, because at the moment we do have exclusive and limited time events, but they're not regular and they're not structured in the same way that they would be as the seasons for Path of Exile and Diablo. And additionally, I think that the introduction of a leaderboard and individual quests is really going to kind of elevate the gaming experience. So I I just want to see Genso grow into like a full blown MMORPG that people are playing regardless of whether it's a Web3 or a Web2 game. And I think it's what I liked about Genso when I started working with the team, and what I enjoyed as a player is that if you don't get told this is a Web3 game, you're not really going to find it out, and you're not being forced into a world that you don't really want to enter. So I kind of want to preserve the casual aspect of it in the sense that it's really accessible, and I would like to preserve the core MMO spirit of the game in terms of competitiveness, events, seasons. I'm not sure if a battle pass is going to work out well in Web3, but maybe that's something that we can look at as well. So, yeah, and also I think a lot of IRL events and tournaments, because tournaments are always making things fun. And they're kind of showcasing the game in a different light that you could do it over traditional social media. So, I'm hoping that we'll be able to do more streams and competitions, in that way.
Yeah, I think you spoke about the battle pass. Actually, there is one game now that is doing that currently. Like to be earning more rewards, you have to have battle pass, and then the rewards are only available for those who have the battle pass use account. Yeah, so it's running for 1 month. So I mean, I've been playing a game that's similar to have the battle pass aside from the
Mhm.
earning. Yeah. So anyway, we can move on to the next round. So this is called rapid fire round. So in impact style. So I'll ask you a few questions. You just answer a one word for it, and then there's no explanation. Are you ready?
I am. Let's go.
So MMORPG or PvP arena?
MMORPG.
Okay, ETH or Polygon?
Ugh, Polygon. I don't like fees.
So favorite GensoKishi item?
Ooh. You know what? We had like a little Polydoge collectible. It's just a cosplay item, but it's really cute, so I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, so dream IRL place you like to see inside the Gensho world?
A place? Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
can you
real
repeat the
life
question?
place. Yeah, dream in real life place that you want to see inside Gensokishi.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, there's a place, there's a city, a seaside city in Japan called Kamakura. I would love to see a version of this in Genso just because it's my favorite place in Japan, and I would just be sitting in that map forever.
So Gensho community in one word.
Loyal, curious, dedicated.
That's three. That's three.
Okay, curious, curious, definitely.
uh, play or earn. Which one is more important?
Play.
Play. If you could teleport into the metaverse for real world, would you do it?
Ah, no, no,
No.
I wouldn't. No.
So anyway, that's all. That's all. Thank you, Nobara. So thank you for having our guest in Gensokishi. Thank you for supporting us, Impact, from the start. So you've been there supporting us. I think maybe any last few words from you before I off you on the stage.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I think it was a really fun discussion. I really enjoyed the quick round. And you've been a great partner to work with. I hope that there's a lot more that we can do down the line. What you mentioned about the guild events and so on. It's been a massive pleasure working with all of our Filipino partners. So I hope that we're kind of gonna stick to this and extend our partnership network even further and maybe do some IRL events. So on behalf of Genso and the community, thank you so much for being so welcoming and supportive as well. And I hope that our discussion was helpful and educational to whoever was listening.
Yeah, thank you for that. So actually, I would like to invite you also to our guild. Like, we're gonna do some collabs for 8 inches. So it's more focused on the gaming side rather than the product itself. I mean, rather than the project itself. So it's kind of different from YGG. So thank you very much,
Amazing.
Tara.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
So I'll just
you.
remove the stage, and then you can just log off. Yeah.
Perfect. Have a good rest of the day and take care. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye. So guys, ayan, thank you for watching this episode. So thank you so much for Novara sharing her energy tonight. So to all our viewers, especially from PH, gaming industry, Kito Space, I'm now more curious, excited about Gensukishi. If meron kayong questions or if you want to join GensoKishi, the link is there. Naka-drop na sa comment section. Just follow them, and then the game is free to play. They've been a great partner for Impact since the day one. They have supported us. So to everyone, thank you for watching. Don't forget, this is not just a game. This is a community. It's a movement. So like, comment, and subscribe sa Impact. And then if you are ready to build, ready to play, or ready to kinda earn some tokens from playing, Genso Kishi might be your next game to play. So this is Ice Team again, your Opa Ice. So your Web3 Tambay signing off for Impact Monday Live. So let's keep making impact. So thank you. See you next Monday. Bye-bye. Good night.
Subscribe, like, follow, and share.